All right, we got to see some Jalen Milroe, the third-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks. Very, I think, interesting prospect. Was very fun to watch in college. This incredible athlete, but a lot of people have said, is his skill set going to translate to the next level? Well, we got to see him at least in a next level, right? Okay, listen, it's third string defenders, but third string defenders are still college all-stars, right? So let's talk about how he played in this game. First, let's start off with the play you see on your screen. Going to be a zone coverage concept. That is worth noting here. But first things first, let's highlight that interior defensive lineman here for the Las Vegas Raiders. Watch what he's going to do on this play. So Milroe takes the snap, and very quickly there is pressure coming up the middle, and this is just, quite frankly, one of his biggest skill sets. And he's someone who is an athlete. He is a runner with the football. We can all talk about, the throwing and all that stuff, but this is going to be, if he's going to work at the next level, it's going to be in part due to a play like this. Watch him be able to step up in the pocket, and he just goes, and he just has that ability to move in a video game-like manner, right? Where you can just see he is more explosive than everybody around him. Even at this point, I mentioned zone coverage. This is why this comes into play. There are defenders no matter where you go. There's no easy way to try and, gain some yards here. But again, watch him go to the outside, but moves around a defender and is able to pick up a first down on this play. This is really good stuff from Milroe. So, again, it's not just that he can outrun somebody. It's that he can, he's shifty enough as well. It's that combination. Although, of course, going over to the passing, okay, listen, I can say what I want about, his rushing ability is going to be a factor in him succeeding if he does succeed. And while that is, of course, true, he is someone that you want to see be able to be an effective thrower of the football, obviously, right? A play like this is what you want to see him be able to do, where there's a receiver running a deeper route, and then the other two receivers towards the offense's left are going to be running routes, both going up towards the top of the screen. When this play begins, you see right here, that route is the one that is just getting open. And, people kind of talked about him as though he was just an athlete in college. I do think he did this stuff very well, of when guys would get open quickly, being able to just fire the ball in the right spot quickly. Watch, he does exactly that. Gets the ball over there, they're able to pick up a nice, gained. It's nothing crazy, but again, it's the whole can't go broke making a profit type of mindset right there. Still, doing the right play, making the right read, and all that good stuff. Also, heading over to a play like this is kind of another, a similar type of thing. Now, this is definitely a preseason play, and what do I mean by that? Well, you'll see it in just a second. So first, concept, quarters coverage, so zone coverage play. You see the route on the screen, how this route concept can work of, again, receiver running a deeper route, pushing the corner further deep. Another receiver goes to where there could be a gap more underneath. Watch how when Milroe takes the snap, as of right here, this is open, and this is just more open than you're going to get in a typical NFL game. And even though I brought up earlier that these are still college all-stars, again, there still is a gap between third stringers and first stringers. It is what it is. There's a different level of competition you get when you're playing in an NFL regular season game versus the fourth quarter of a preseason game. But nonetheless, again, for Milroe, you want to see him do the right thing. He's already in the throwing motion. As you see, he makes the right play. Hey, his job is to hit the open guy. There was an open guy. Sure, it was more open than you're usually going to get. Whatever. His job is still to hit the open guy, and he did that. So you give him credit, right? This play is an easier test than he would have to pass in the NFL, but you still want to make sure he passes it, and he is passing it. Although this next play was certainly not a layup type of play. So it's going to be a designed rollout, which makes sense, right? Again, Jalen Milroe, really athletic player, so let's get him moving. Let's see how he can do in those situations. Sure. When this begins, you see he fakes the handoff, but actually the Raiders are kind of all over this. You got to give them credit. They're reading this, well and being in position to try and make a play. But watch just, again, Milro's athleticism and how he's able to run by, still be able to be in position to make a throw, and even down the field. You see right here, this is not that open. There's a window. For sure there's a window. This is the correct throw to make, but this is not the easiest play in the world. You're off balance. Missed throws can certainly happen in this scenario. However, Milro puts it right on the money. They're able to pick up a big gain there. So again, that is a more difficult play. That is not just a preseason guy getting wide open, you're beating third stringers play. That is a difficult play that he had to make something good happen on, and he was successfully able to do so. Now, I want to talk about a play like this. So this was a bit earlier in the game. It's a 3rd down and 11, and I don't know if this is a bad play. I don't think I would call it a bad play, but this just kind of goes to show who Jalen Milroe is as a player, and this is kind of a bit of what you're just going to deal with for better and for worse. So, again, 3rd down and 11. You see it's zone coverage that the defense is in. They're kind of selling as though it'll be a blitz, but they'll drop back into coverage. And you have this over the middle route that could get open. So when this play begins, you see that, is this open? I mean, again, this is the kind of thing where if you make this throw and it gets intercepted, people are going to criticize, right? I don't think it's that's why I'm saying it's not a bad play. It's just, this is who he is. He is not the kind of guy who fires this through a tight window. There are players who would, and good players who would. Baker Mayfield would make this throw, right? For better or worse. That is a strategy that some guys have. Some guys do not have that. Milroe is not going to make this throw. Instead, he's going to choose to scramble up, and listen, sometimes it'll work out. Like we saw earlier, this time it does not work out. They have to punt the ball away. This is just the good and the bad you're going to get with Milroe. It's simply just a strategic decision that you can say if you like or dislike. Now, there was also this play, which is a 4th and 1. You see it's a rollout, and this is a tough play. You can't really run. The Raiders have that covered. Even the receiver that you could throw to, his hips are turned towards the sideline, but there's a defender right in that area. This is tough. I would say, you'd like a better ball here. This one isn't really a catchable play there. Again, that's really tough, right? It is, but you still would have liked that to be, I think, a little bit higher and a little bit more towards his intended target, just to give him a chance. Would he have made the catch? I don't know, but it wasn't an ideal placement in a big spot. 4th down and 1, up 3 points with 4 minutes left. I know it's just the preseason, and it's a meaningless game, but still, you're playing out game situation, right? You would have loved to give your receiver a chance. But now let's go over here, because this is really the key thing with someone like Milroe, and quite frankly, why I think someone like Milroe still could work at this level is these option plays. So the way that an option play works is you see the edge rusher. The edge rusher is going to be unblocked on this play. When this begins, you see how late Milroe is in pulling the ball back. I believe this is a true option because of that. I don't think that this was, a lot of times in the NFL, the option plays are actually just fake handoffs when it's going to be a quarterback run no matter what. Here, I think Milroe legitimately can read this play himself and decide if he wants to keep it or hand it off. And when he pulls back, look at how that defender is completely fooled. And because of this, again, he's so good in open space. It reminds you of Kyler Murray, right? And being able to just move so effectively on these types of plays. And again, if he's going to work in the NFL, it's going to be with these types of plays, right? It's just so difficult to stop. And I think that's what can potentially get you excited if you are buying Jalen Milroe stock. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on his performance. It wasn't perfect, but ultimately a pretty good performance. And I think that he passed the first test is what I would say. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.